Welcome in, heathens. Sunday Night Roundtable. I am your host, Michael Gillum, joined by Justin Graver, Robert Greenlaw, Jonathan Boren, and we hope Michael Herndon. We don't know where he is, but he needs to get in here because we got a lot to talk about. The Titans have just ripped off a win, 42-36, in possibly one of the most infuriating Titans games I've watched in years. We're going to dive right into that. Before I get into it, we are brought to you by BroadwaySportsMedia.com. You can read articles by Michael Herndon, even though we don't know where he is, John Glenn, and many more, BroadwaySportsMedia.com. Go over to the website, get yourself a membership. We're here. We survived that. I spent most of the third quarter cursing, especially at our defense. I'm going to hand it over to Jonathan Boren because he's like itching to rip into this team, despite the fact that they are 5-0. Boren getting their ass.
Despite their best efforts, they are 5-0. Look, from the second that they decided to kick the field goal on 4th and 3 in that third quarter, where they could have gone for it with the offense rolling, they chose to kick the field goal. From that point, it was just straight downhill. Like, there is nothing going right. You have the blocked field goal, you have a missed field goal, touchdown after touchdown. And look, yeah, that's the epitome of the Texans coming into a game with them being 1-4 with nothing to lose, and the Titans coming in and saying, we're going to chase some points here. We're going to add 3 points here, 3 points here. Look, the Texans even fucked up where they're going to say that they're going to go in there and go for 2 for some reason. For some reason, they go for 2. Look, I'm the analytics guy, and at the same time, going for 2 doesn't make sense. Yes, you win the game in that situation, but if you kick the extra point, you put yourself in a situation where you have 2 plays. Don't allow a touchdown. And even if you do, don't allow a 2-point conversion and you win the game. But instead they decided we're going to put it down to 1 play. 1 play, we're going to go for the 2-point conversion. And don't get me wrong, they had a wide open player to get that 2-point conversion. Jeffrey Simmons coming with a huge play to knock the ball down because Randall Cobb had come wide open. But at the same time, the decision, we talked about on Coach's Corner of the podcast, a bad decision is a bad decision regardless of the outcome. That was a bad decision. So the Titans, despite their best efforts, 5-0. 5-0 going into the Steelers.
Get out of here with this negativity. The Titans are 5-0 because the offense is unstoppable. The only reason the Texans were even in this game was because Taylor Lewan hurt his knee. Taylor Lewan hadn't hurt his knee. Ty Sambrello comes in the game and plays terrible. No offense. I mean, I know that's a tough job, but come on, man.
He was terrible. The next play got his ass blown up.
The next play, this is not the first time this happened to the Titans. Taylor Lewan went out against the Jacksonville Jaguars sometime last year, and Yannick Ngakoue came in and beat Dennis Kelly around the edge on the very next play and forced a strip sack. So it's like the same freaking thing, division opponent. Anyway, Sambrello had a chance to recover the fumble and lets it freaking squirt out of his hands and lets the Texans recover the ball inside the 8-yard line. Of course, at that point, it feels like everything's snowballing and everything's going downhill from there. But overall, look at what the Titans offense did. It consistently drove down the field. Derrick Henry was unstoppable. Ryan Tannehill was unstoppable. A.J. Brown is a monster who's also unstoppable. Game-winning catch, 2 touchdowns. I mean, 42 points, back-to-back weeks. How can you have any complaints? I mean, thrilling shootout match. Cut out the turnovers, and it's a totally different ballgame.
Exactly. And to counter Boren, Zach in the chat is saying it was all a troll job by Vrabel. They were allowing the Texans to come back into the game just to beat them in the most heart-wrenching fashion possible. And that makes a lot of sense to me. So, yeah, I mean, hard to argue.
Precisely what happened.
I'm sure
Vrabel just wanted to try to make it look so bad against Romeo Crennel.
Exactly. The oldest coach of all time. He wanted to beat him in the most embarrassing fashion possible.
I'm sure that these multi-million-dollar coaches with every win counting just everything to their end game are just deciding like, screw it. I'm just going to play it to the edge. Like, whatever. We're just going to go for it. I'm just going to make it more difficult than it should be. It makes absolutely no sense. Get out of here.
It worked, though. It's hard to argue with results.
All right, results do not justify the decision. I'm fired up.
Let's talk about the difference between the first and the second half. I mean, there was really no difference to me between the defense in the first and second half. This is the worst third down defense. I am so tired of watching this team get their ass straight up torched on third down. It happened in the first half. It happened in the second half. The only problem with the second half is that the offense started to let the wheels come off the bus as well. What the hell happened?
So I think one of the big things is offensively, they because the defense is so hit or miss, it's one of those things they're trying to create turnovers. They're trying to make it in that situation where they can't drive it down the field.
Not to cut you off.
Are you calling in a plane?
No,
are you trying to land a plane here?
We're
You
calling
go.
in-
You land it.
I'm out so that we can get Mike in.
This is the plane we're trying to land. That's it. That's what's going on. Welcome into the show, Mr.
Mike's got the punctuality of an Amtrak train. Welcome in, Mike.
I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here. That was fun.
Really?
Fun for who? We're ripping up the third down defense right now. So, Bourne, I'm gonna let you finish your thought, and then I'm gonna let Mike come in here and try to spray some positivity.
We just had a plane crash over on the runway over here. I mean, Graver was trying to call somebody in, and he's gone. That plane is down. But no, it's just one of those things. It's like I don't even know what I was talking about at this point because I'm worried about the plane. So, Graver, you go.
The third down defense is definitely one of the most inexcusable aspects of the last like 3 or 4 Titans games now, and I'm not really sure what it doesn't seem to be like one problem. It seems like either they can't get a stop in the run game, or they can't get the pass breakup, or they can't get the pressure on the quarterback. It's just like they continue to botch like somewhere along the way. They can't seem to get the synergy to get off the field on third downs, and it definitely hurt them in this game.
The dashboard is lit up like a Christmas tree in a Pontiac Aztec with this third down defense. I am very tired of watching it. Mike, please expand on that.
Yeah, I mean, the third down defense sucks. It's been terrible for the last 3 games now. The first game, it was because Minnesota was always in third and short. They were always ahead of the chains. Last week, it was Josh Allen making plays. This week, it was just people being wide open. So I have no idea what to make of the third down defense problem or how that gets fixed. They come up with some stuff. The first third down in the game, they have a really nicely schemed blitz, or maybe that was the second third down of the game, but they come up with some stuff that looks really good, and then other stuff, it's just like, all right, we're just going to let people just run wide open, or we're going to drop Daquan Jones into coverage multiple times again, which just drives me nuts. I mean, I get like what they're trying to do. They're trying to disguise where people are coming from and stuff, but Daquan is covering about 3 square yards of actual area when he drops. So, I mean, and it's not like he's going to tackle anybody in the open field like a receiver. It's just a waste of space to me. But anyways, besides that part of it, I mean, I wish I knew how to make that problem go away, but that is a massive problem. And Adori's not going to fix it all. He'll certainly help because he gives you one more guy that can actually, close ground and make plays on the ball, which they sorely lack right now. But they're not going to take Butler off the field when Sidori comes back. He's still going to be out there. So.
Well, that's the thing about Butler is Butler has not been terrible. Butler in his history has been a freelancing guy. He's a guy that tries to make plays happen, and got him into trouble those first 8 games that he had been signed here. You see that pop up from time to time. The big play to Fuller was him. They go to an invert cover 2 where that's the thing. If you're a corner, generally you have safety help. In that coverage, you are the safety. So it's hard to get your mind right in that situation where all of a sudden I don't have safety help. I cannot freelance on this play. Well, on that play, he freelances a little bit because he tries to jump an under route that's going to be more of it's an in coming from the right side. Well, he just jumps it. And instead, Fuller's just, by the way, a guy that.
The board just, is he done? Did he get so worked
just
up
like that?
Dropped. So let me throw this. Are you back? Is that what's happening? I don't know. That's a disaster. Robert, I'm gonna go over to you. And I had given up at some point in the third quarter. I really thought the wheels were coming off this typical Titans train, and we were really gonna post a loss to them.
I never felt that we were gonna lose the game, but it was extremely frustrating. I think it was 17 points unanswered at one point, and it was not necessarily completely the fault of the offense. They missed a couple field goals in that span, but it was very frustrating. My blood pressure went skyrocketing. I made a call to my doctor, and I have an appointment this week because of the Titans.
4 out of 5 games, they've done that to us.
Yeah, no kidding.
So
even Gostowski just wants to make it really interesting.
I really liked the ballsy call in overtime of all of 8 seconds left on the clock. You rush up to the line and go ahead. I'm sorry, not leading into overtime. Go ahead and run right up to the line and throw a touchdown to AJ Brown. Did he get both feet in?
It was super close. Like I felt like it was simultaneous. The right leg hitting out of bounds as the left foot, the side of the left foot just grazed a blade of grass. I mean, it was so close. But but the other thing, and I'm not entirely sure on the rule about this, but at one point, it used to be that if you got the same foot hit the ground, came up, and then went back down, it counted, and that happened on that play.
Yes.
So I wasn't 100% sure if that was still the way that was ruled, but if so, that was an easy touchdown. But I do think that was the right call. Certainly, you couldn't overturn it based on anything they showed. But let me say this. I love Ryan Tannehill coming to the line and running a play there. Instead of spiking the ball, the automatic, just go to the fade to A.J. Brown. He knew where he wanted to go all along. Brown knew what was coming. That's obviously something that they've worked on in that situation before. But to have the presence of mind to just go, boom, hey, we're going to run this play real quick. Instead, because that play takes maybe 1 second more than a spike would off the clock. So you're not risking anything. It's a very low risk play, and you get a touchdown out of it. It's very smart football. It's excellent leadership by Ryan Tannehill and a great play by A.J. Brown.
So before we discuss overtime, I want to throw out a couple of little accolades. Graver and I were joking about this as we watched the end of the game. Adam Humphries, I just want to buy the man a bottle of wine at dinner. Like he just deserved all the nice things. He just doesn't ever seem to fuck up. I really, really like it. And what else can you say about Ferkser? What a banner day for that man. I don't have his yardage in front of me, but damn, he caught every damn thing that was thrown at him and got positive yardage afterwards.
McWeapon looked great too. He was gashing the Texans defense.
Stop it. No, we are talking about the man, Adam Humphries, and you and I have gone back and forth about the fact that Adam Humphries is the anti-yards after the catch, and the fact that I think he has 6 over the entire season.
Yeah, this is a team built on yards after the catch, and he does not want any part of it.
Graver, we got to work on hand signals. I don't know if you're trying to tell me the power's out or what are we doing here? Let's go to you.
I'm landing a new plane. The Ryan Watson plane has landed.
Come on. Listen. Playing your way in here, Ryan.
2 things. Force my way in 2 things. I told y'all the place was about to pop in the run game, dadgummit. I've been telling y'all for weeks. Here we go. Henry was great. The line was great. I love it. And really, I just can't get the stream to load myself, and I just want to watch on the stream. So
I don't know. Look at this collection of boxes. It's starting to look like CNN Megadesk in here on election night. So Ryan, as you come in, we were talking about a little bit about McWeapon, Humphries, how he just want to buy him a nice bottle of wine, a nice watch, something. You just want him to know he's loved. And Ferkser, good Lord, the man catches and gets some damn positive yardage. That's a 3-pack of beasts. That 3-pack would cost you $29.99 if that were IPA.
That's a hell of a deal, though, if you think about it.
8 catches for 113 and a touch for Ferkser. Massive game.
You just get that. Turn into you just get it in his area, and he's going to bring it in. I love it. He's just conversion king.
And it was the Corey Davis role, who I'm not sure if the streak is still alive or exactly what number he was at, but Corey Davis had like 20-something straight catches that converted for a first down, and that was who Ferkser kind of had to be this game in order to keep the chains moving, keep the offense on schedule, and he really stepped up in a big way.
Well, Justin, if you'll start shifting, digging up some comments that we can get to in a minute, I'm going to shift to overtime. Let me ask this. Is that the most important coin toss ever?
Oh my!
I was just begging. I was like, if the Titans don't get this coin toss, this shit's over.
If you don't have any idea about how important the coin toss is, look at Deshaun Watson's reaction when they lost the coin toss. It was like, damn! Like he turned Byard's out there and he knows it. He knows that we're friends, but also we just won. So.
Yeah, Titans defense couldn't turn off a faucet. I was so happy to see that they had won the coin toss, and thank God it was a short overtime led by a huge Derrick Henry. I'm sorry, was it a screen pass that he successfully got?
No, it was not.
Just
not
a
a screen pass. Stop that.
Oh, excuse me.
It was just he just leaked out after his assignment in the pass block did not come right away, so he leaked out to the side. Let me say this: it was the most natural catch of Derrick Henry's life there to get down the sideline, and I loved it.
And let me say this: I'm pretty sure Tannehill only gets to Henry in that progression because a receiver slipped and fell down. I saw a leg go out on the screen, and I couldn't really make it out on a replay, so I'll have to consult the all 22 whenever that comes out. But I'm pretty sure the crossing route falls down coming out of his break, and Tannehill moves immediately to the swing to Henry, and you get a 50-something yard gain that basically puts them in the red zone where they're money. So ball game. So thank you, whoever slipped and fell down on that route. I think it might have been Westbrook. Thank you for falling down. It might have won us the game.
I think it was a design slip, actually.
Is that one of those where you're like, yeah, he got a huge gain out of it, but at the same time, if you're being a little critical, and maybe this is me, the coach is like, this is why you could have improved. Is there a little bit of you that's saying, yo, put the safety down, you're one-on-one, go in the game right there? Because at some point you're a little angsty, like, oh, now it comes down to a couple other plays. Now just put him down, man. You're one-on-one in the game, win it right there.
The way he was, I completely expected it to happen that way too while he was running out there.
Yeah, I mean, you don't often see Henry not turn that into a touchdown. And you talked about Nick Westbrook-Ikine out there, Ikine, or however the hell you say his name. And this guy made a heck of a catch for that 2-point conversion to get both of those feet down in bounds. And that ended up being pretty crucial to the final score of this game. Obviously, they went to overtime. Without that, who knows?
Ballsy called direct snap to Henry. Scores.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, just beautiful. Direct snap, runs right into the end zone, walks in standing up.
3rd and 5, too. I mean, third and goal from the 5. I was like, what is happening right now? I thought it was insane, but I mean, credit.
That's one of those where you think, you have 2 timeouts in overtime where you come out and if you get the right look, you're going for it. Yeah. And here's the thing: everything showed up. They had numbers to the left side where they go to do it. But I think it's Swain that's the tight end that comes out there, and he has the angle, but the linebacker actually beats him to the outside, and it's completely on that point where it's cool. Yeah, you got the angle and everything, but Derrick Henry's 260 pounds, so good luck.
This guy's run for 200+ yards against the Texans in back-to-back meetings. We used to talk about how Henry owns the Jaguars, but has he adopted a new team?
I don't know. I will say this. I'm gonna start this until Justin finds some comments. I can't read the comments, so I definitely want to dig into that. But
yes, me neither.
My favorite part of this entire game, besides how infuriating it was, the lack of J.J. Watt camera time. It just really, really made me smile. I mean, he did have a pretty good game, but he didn't get a lot of time to be looking at the camera and doing his usual bullshit. Go sell your sandwiches and donate money and all that kind of stuff. We don't want to look at your punk ass. Bye, Felicia. Get on the bus.
Yeah, I've had enough J.J. Watt staring at longingly into the CBS camera lens for like in 3 lifetimes. So yeah, let's just run that string out for the rest of his career.
If J.J. Watt wants to chop some more wood, I got a fire back here that needs more. That's out. It's out. It's out. But I need to keep it going. So if J.J. Watt needs something better to do than losing games to the Titans, I have something he can put him to use.
Shazam wants to know, they were going for it on 4th and goal in overtime, right?
I think so. I don't think you call the Wildcat package if you're not planning on going for it, assuming he gets close.
Yep. That's what I think. I think it's still one of those things though. If you have 2 timeouts, though, it's like you come out there and if they do not get the look they want, they're calling timeout and calling another play. But at the same time, I'm critical of them going for or kicking a field goal on 4th and 3. So I hope to God they're going for it.
I think they probably actually kicked the field goal there, because we saw Mike Vrabel earlier in the game. And, like, you'd think, like, maybe Mike Vrabel would learn from his mistake and, like, change his course. But against the Bills last year, Cairo Santos, I think, was the kicker, missed 4 field goals, never changed his approach. Week 1 this year, Steven Gostkowski against the Broncos, never changed his approach despite all those misses. So, like, Vrabel's going to do what he does in that situation, and maybe he would have gone for it because they were closer at the goal line and, like, you can actually win the game and finish things off there. But you could also kick a field goal, and if your defense gets a stop or even holds them to a field goal, your offense has another chance. So I don't know. Because they kicked a field goal earlier in the game, it makes me think they might have not gone for it.
Stony in the comments says Romeo is not a bad head coach, but that was some Mike Zimmer derp going for 2. I'm going to ruin it for you. Romeo Crennel is a terrible coach. He has a 33% win percentage overall. He's only had one winning season ever. 10-6, 2007 with Cleveland. I literally had to Google that just so I could shit on your comment. I'm really sorry. I know you're a loyal follower, but I need to get in some Romeo Crennel hate. I've got to get it in because I can't hate on Adam Gase right now. I cannot find a way to tie this game to Adam Gase. There's your Romeo Crennel shit package. He sucks.
And the way the Titans finish that game, I'm convinced even if they do kick the field goal, that the Titans score, convert their 2-point conversion, and we're going to overtime anyway. So I mean, I'm who cares? The Titans were just on a roll right there.
Well, and that's the thing about the Titans is like you got to understand where your strengths are, and that's where with the offense, the defense is very much that bend, don't break kind of thing, where you're gonna get the turnovers here or there, but you're gonna allow some points. So you got to be in that situation where you got to know that and be self-aware. So yeah, I'm going for it. I'm going for it every chance I get. If it's 4th and close, I am going for it.
DK Metcalf tweeted out that he is a low-key Titans fan. I love that.
Let's go.
I love that DK Metcalf and AJ Brown keep up with each other like religiously on Twitter, their stats. I really, really do like that. It has nothing to do with the fact that I have both of them on a fantasy football team.
or that you're an Ole Miss fan.
Or that I'm an Ole Miss fan, which is just glorious in its own right.
But let's be real. DK Metcalf is going to look so good in two-tone blue here in a couple years whenever Russell Wilson retires from the Seahawks and he comes down to take over and run with AJ.
So Titans are 5-0. It's the first time they're 5-0 since 2008. Is that correct?
Yep.
It is. And I think it was Mike, you looked up the stats that 5-0, because I was curious going into this week, what does 4-0 mean to 5-0? And going to 5-0, I think it's 91%, 91 or 93%, one of those two. Either way, it's above 90% is making the playoffs, and that's before you had the 7 teams making the playoffs. So Titans are in a good situation right here.
You're statistically more likely to win the Super Bowl than miss the playoffs at this point.
Let's go.
Yeah, and Zach in the comments here is saying Chris Wessling thinks that Henry and Tannehill should be co-MVPs. What do you guys think about that?
For it. I mean, they're unstoppable together.
I'm not going to hate on it. I got to go with it. It's too early to talk about MVP stuff. It annoys me very, very much when I hear announcers talking about X, Y, and Z. Last week it was all, Josh Allen, MVP, which I will never get behind. I will stop watching football if that man is ever named MVP. I will stop watching football. I'm not kidding. That man sucks.
I do think that
Please do not record that. If he wins it, I really like football. Okay, don't do that to me.
I do think we got to give the credit to Tannehill for that drive because most of the game he didn't have to do a whole lot. He was able to work the play action passing game, and yes, he was very accurate and decisive with the ball. He did have the fumble that was picked up in Houston territory, really close to in Titans territory, right in front of the goal line. He had an interception where Rich Gannon explained it well in the broadcast, but he really didn't lead Raymond to the right spot on that kind of play. But when it came down to it, you don't have the running game. Less than 2 minutes to go, you need a touchdown. Tannehill drove him down the field, was poised, was surgical, took exactly as much time as they had and needed so that you don't leave anything left for Houston to go get a touchdown. We talked about how he came up to the line and saw a comment earlier. He kind of faked he didn't really fake the spike, but he went under center for a second. I think that froze Houston's defense, and then he dropped back into shotgun.
Well, that's one of those where you come out, you say, hey, if we get a certain look, this is the play we're going with. If you don't get that look, you're spiking the ball. They got the look they wanted, where it's the Texans are going to have everything pinched right there into that bunch formation, which gives you a chance to run that fade route where it's one-on-one. And then you give your receiver a chance. So like Mike talked about when he jumped in, when I talked about it earlier, you're sacrificing 2 seconds for A.J. Brown in just a favorable position to get a touchdown. You're taking that every second of the day. So just like you said, it's just a great job as the entire offense planning that situation and being in the zone.
Yeah, and this is not weird, but this is kind of a change of pace for watching Titans games, right? It's kind of gotten to this point where you have this feeling of they're going to convert. They're going to get this. It's almost like you're disappointed when they don't, as opposed to, they were so close, or, I hope they get this. There's this with Tannehill, the way he's rolling, with Henry able to break off the 12-yard runs like he is. Even McNichols was breaking off the runs. I'm sure y'all covered that earlier before I got on. But just it's that this offense with Tannehill behind it and Art Smith calling the plays, it's this feeling of like, they're going to get it. This is going to happen. And it's much different from years past when it was like, things break right. Maybe they'll have this or maybe they'll get that. So it's definitely kind of a cool spot to watch these games from.
How about the 2nd and 20 conversion to Anthony Firkser in the first half? That was like, it seemed like, oh man, these guys are like the false start or the holding or whatever it was. Like, because on the first drive, they had a false start on the very first play of the game that they weren't able to overcome. So you see that kind of situation, it's just like, well, hopefully they can get some yards here and punt the ball, right? But no, 2nd and 20, Tannehill decisive over the middle to Firkser, who we talked about it already, but what a game from Firkser. I can't get over it, honestly.
Matt Moona posted in the comments, hope I'm saying that name right, by the way, Rich Gannon despises the Titans. He was so biased. Look, I'm going to make you feel better. Rich Gannon threw 5 interceptions in a Super Bowl once, okay? So he can suck it.
They were awfully like Texans. It felt like they were slanted like the Texans could really use a turnover here. Like, no shit, every team could really use a turnover every time they're on defense. That's how defense works. Like, that was really weird that they kept talking about that.
I didn't always treat the Titans, though. I mean,
and I think it was I think it was Rich Gannon that when the game ended, literally flatline says Titans are 5-0. It's like just destroyed that there's an AFC team 5-0 that just happened in front of you. It's like, I'm sorry, we just busted your balls. Speaking of 5-0, 2 undefeateds next week. Steelers come to town. That's a noon game. I bet that's getting flexed to Sunday night. It's got to be, right? Battle of the
You'd hope so. It's one of those things where the Cowboys or whoever, you have those big market teams that regardless, they could be 1-15, and they're like, hey, 1-15, but is this a situation where the Cowboys are going to pick up a win and they're going to get flexed kind of thing? So unfortunately, with the Titans, and this is the reason that part of that Broadway exists. We want to give you good access. So with this game, everything about it should get flexed because you don't get a ton of undefeated matchups this late in the season.
If they do get flexed, though, does that mess up Eric Ebron's daughter's birthday party again? I mean, we have to think about all situations here. Yeah,
they really should do. They should check. They should make sure that Eric Ebron's landscaper is not having a party or something later that he has to go to. Just bitch it. Just bitch it. You had all off season to talk about your kid's birthday party. It's COVID. All of us are missing shit we don't like. Tell me about your kid's birthday party. Get the hell out of here. I'm sorry. I went into a bad spot there. Just I went into a zone.
You're not wrong.
Hey, speaking of kids. Speaking of kids, son gave me the first high five of his entire life right after the game ended. Unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable moment.
Awesome. Beautiful.
That is awesome.
Beautiful. It's what we're here for. We're here to teach our children that rooting for the Titans is the correct thing to do. Gentlemen, I am going to go around the room. We're going to get some final thoughts, and we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to start with you, Robert Greenlaw. Give me some thoughts.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking, is this the best team of all time? Because they're 5-0. They're on pace to go 19-0. Tough to disagree with that. I know Bourne hates this team a lot, but they are on pace to go 19-0, which would make them the greatest team of all time.
Ryan,
I don't want to temper expectations or temper, I'm really wanting to wait. Lawan's going to be huge going forward, what the results there are. But this run game really has been coming together the last couple of weeks when I've been doing my In the Trenches article. I've seen these plays. They're just so close. Even in the first half, you had all these. So I'm glad to see they finally break through. And that has to continue forward for this to continue to go undefeated as we go. So look for that to continue happening. Mike.
Yeah, I think the difference to me between this team and even good Titans teams of the past, this is an offense-led football team. We've been saying it all year, and this is why you prefer to be an offense-led football team, because you can win games like this. No good Titans team ever in the history of the Titans would have ever won a game like this. I mean, just having to go blow for blow, having to put up 40 to win. This is a unique Titans team. I think you should believe that they can win any game. They've scored at least 30 points in 9 of their last 12 games. Think about that. Think about how many times we would be like, man, they almost broke 20 this week. That was a really good game from the offense. this is a totally different Titans team. The offense, you can absolutely believe on it. You can bank on it week to week, even without a full complement of guys. I think this is a top 3 or 4 team in the NFL. Let's go.
Last year, how many times did you say if this team scores 20 points, they win this ball game? Because the defense was only giving up, 19 a game at the beginning. So complete reversal from a year ago.
Nicholas Freeman in chat wants to know if Herndon is wearing a Nebraska hat. I'm going to answer for him. Yes, that is the Nebraska hat. It's not a Sounds hat. No. He hates the Texans. He hates the Longhorns. It's the best thing that happened to me all day. Board, give us some final thoughts.
Look, just to kind of echo it, you're an offensive team kind of here, and this is a game that in the past the Titans lose. This is a game that in the end you should have lost if you're the Titans, and it's okay. I was ready to come in here and talk about how, yes, the Titans lost this game. They screwed up some stuff, but that happens in the NFL. But the fact that you actually come out and come with these wins right here, that's the difference between not a good team, but a great team, a team that actually can compete with the Kansas City Chiefs. So whenever you look at the Titans, the fact that they were able to pick up this win, it's bigger than one win for me when I'm looking at it, because this is a game that whenever you look at it, I'm curious about the breakdown.
Please keep going. I'll share out.
I'm done. But
Justin,
the Titans earned this. This is the difference between good and great. They talked about it last year, going good to great. They actually went good to great today.
All right. I'll wrap us up here just by recapping my emotions through the game. It was interesting because I kind of was apprehensive heading into the contest. Division games are always tougher than you think, and the Titans come out on fire, 14-0. I'm like, oh, wow, this team is actually great. They're going to cruise to victory here. And then disaster strikes in the form of that blocked field goal, that big play a couple plays later, and then Tannehill strip sacked, and then Will Fuller has a 50-yard touchdown right after Henry has a 94-yard touchdown. You're like, can this team catch a break? But then they can catch a break because they get the stops they finally need there towards the end of the game. They did it. They did everything they needed to do to win when it came down to the clutch. Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown. I just can't say enough about the team. Jonnu Smith had to leave, and they didn't even miss him, and it was crazy that Corey Davis is still out. And when everyone gets healthy, Jonnu, Corey, and Adoree Jackson, this team is one of the best teams in the AFC, if not the best team.
Can I just jump in here real quick, just because I don't want to. I feel like I'm Kanye to Taylor Swift right here. I'm gonna let you finish, but the fact that you said they were managed to steal it right there. The Titans got to get out of that mentality where they are stealing wins, where they are managed to get those breaks or whatnot. No. The Titans managed to get a win that they deserved right here. If you want to be a great team, you can't be stealing it. The Texans tried to steal something right here, and the Titans still made it happen where they could still get the W, even though the other team's trying to steal it. No, we're tired of stealing wins. If you want to be a great team, you're not stealing anything. You're earning it.
I'm blown away that I'm watching a Tennessee Titans team that can boat race. I literally think any offense in this league. This is the first time that I've watched a Tennessee team going into it that I'm not hoping they can just eke out a win. I'm confident they can win against any team in the league. I'm not saying they're going to go 19-0. I'm just saying the Titans have enough on offense to be able to make that happen. Defense is a little, needs some work, but the offense can make up for the deficiencies of the defense. And right now that's what's happening. Now to get to the reason why I'm laughing. I've got red zone up on a screen to my left. The Jets were 0-3 on third down conversions, went 0-4 as the quarterback. I don't even know who's quarterback. He takes a sack on the 1 yard line. The Jets have allowed 400 plus yards now in back-to-back games. They are losing 14-0 to the Cowboys. And this tweet by Rich Cremini is what came up and started making me who did I say?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Rich Cremini tweets that on one drive, the quarterback gets the following: false start, offensive pass interference, illegal motion. My God.
Trifecta, baby. That's what you want out of an offense, right?
The Jets are crap. I got my Adam Gase shit talk in for the day. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And we're gonna wrap it up on that note. The Titans.
Wait. Bold prediction before we get out of here. That's gonna make you so angry.
Oh,
Adam
boy.
Gase will not be the next head coach fired. It's going to be either Matt Patricia or Doug Marrone. Most likely Doug Marrone, who got boat raced by Matt Patricia today.
What about
Doug
Mike
Marrone's
Zimmer? He
done
got crushed
soon.
today too against
You know,
the Falcons.
I'm telling you, it's not going to make me mad if Adam Gase gets fired. It's actually going to make me mad if he gets fired before the end of the season. I want him. I want him all the whole season. I want him 0-16, so that no one ever fires or hires this
Titans
asshole
are
again.
19-0. He's 0-16. He's the anti-Titans.
That would be it. I could retire. I don't know what I do. I don't have enough money to retire, but I would retire. Gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up. Your Tennessee Titans are 5-0, and they're going to play. Is it the 5-0 Steelers?
6-0.
5-0. 6-0.
5-0.
5-0.
They're both
This
five.
is organization. This is organization at its pinnacle right here on Broadway.
Remember, we
Sports.
forced them to have a bye week, so now Eric.
I remember.
The cry birthdays, you know.
Really appreciate you tuning in. We really hope that this game gets flexed to Sunday night. Anyway, I think the broadcast. Did the
Whoops.
broadcast just end?
No, we're still live.
What's
We're
happening
live.
here? We are a bigger shit show than the Tennessee Titans second half defense right now. Thank you for tuning in. This is BroadwaySportsMedia.com. You can tune in and watch disasters like this every single week. Read articles from Michael Herndon.
Have a good week as well, Shazam. Have a good
John Glennon. I had other ads to get to. I'm sorry. We're just going to leave it there. We really appreciate you tuning in. Mother of God, I'm sweating. Cut the cameras off.